হ্যালো ইউটিউব, আমরা আজকে একটা নতুন জায়গা যাইলাম বেড়ানিত। সেটার নাম হইল গিয়ে লস্ট সি। সেটা টেনেসিতে পড়ছে। সো রওনা দিছি এখন। রাস্তা থেকে কিছু খাবার দাবার লইব। 3 ঘন্টা লাগবে যেতে টেনেসিতে গিয়া আপনার সাথে দেখা হইব। আমরা টেনেসি আইছি, লস্ট সি। সো ওখান যাই মোয়াটিয়া সামনে দিয়ে আপনারা দেখাইলাম। এই জায়গাটা যে এক্সিস্ট করে আমার জানা আছিল না। গত সপ্তাহ হঠাৎ করে একটা ফেসবুক রিলও জায়গাটা দেখলাম। কিছুটা রুবি ফলসের মতো। এখন দেখা যাক কিরম লাগে। রুবি ফলসের মতো তো জাঁকজমক না, এবার দেখা যাক। কিছু জান না। Wishing. Do you wanna wish something? It's a wishing wall.
Alright, give me some money.
I don't have coin.
Yeah.
There.
Whoa.
That's a gem. You can find gems. Yeah. Are there? খুব নীরব একটা প্লেস। এখন আমরা আইসক্রিম খাইমু গিয়া। ঠান্ডা বাতাস, ঠান্ডা বাতাস।
How's everybody doing today? We have a good day so far? Good. My name's Skyler. I'm going to be your tour guide today. Before we go down, there are some rules we got to go over. They're on these signs right here. If you don't want to read those, just listen to me. That works as well. Number one, stay behind me on the trails at all times. Don't be out in front of me. Don't go to any other groups, because if you do, you can get lost, and then I have to come find you. I don't want to do that right in the middle of the day. Don't make me do that. Number two, no smoking while we're inside the cave. I just want to make sure we're going active. So again, just make sure you get outside. We're going into the trans cave.
তাহলে ধরো খেতে না দিছে তো।
Glowstone. Glowstone is made out of calcium carbonate. It's actually used to make things like stones and antacids, all that stuff that helps out with your heartburn. There's also this amber color formation right up here. That's called drapery. Drapery is a type of iron oxide, which means it's a very pretty rust. One of the more pretty formations in our cave. A lot of kids tell me it looks like a big strip of bacon, so I call it cave bacon. Put up on the back.
We're here. We're here.
I only gotta bring back half of you. I like to keep most of you until we get to the lake. We got to feed the fish somehow. Now, if you look right up here, you are gonna see the second formation we look at today. This one's called the Vale of Tears. Now, the Vale of Tears gets its name because it's one of the more active formations.
Let's take a winding to a bit. You okay, Radha?
Yeah. It's just a little struggling.
Now, this room enter. Now, about 100 years after that, in 1927, there were some teenagers that went into this room and found artifacts of the Cherokees, such as arrowheads, pottery, jewelry, all this cool stuff that they found. They gave mostly to the owners. The owners created a glass showcase, which not only holds things from the Cherokee now, but also from the Civil War and even an ancient animal that we found down here. More on that later. Now, if you look right up here, you are going to see the rarest formation in our cave. These are called anthodites. Now, anthodites get their name from the Greek root anthos, which means flower. They do flower out like a dandelion does, so some people like to call them cave flowers, but again, they are crystals, and very rare crystals at that. They only grow in 8 caves in the entire world. 60 to 70% of anthodites are actually found here at the Lost Sea, making us a U.S. registered natural landmarker. Now, as they grow here, we know a little bit about them. We know they grow through evaporation, which is going to take a very long time, as they grow at the very slow growth rate of about a cubic centimeter every 1,000 years. And that's why we don't want to touch them, because that means they're very expensive as well. Every centimeter you touch can be up to about
These are crystals.
Most of the caverns are pretty open. There are a few open.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go.
That done.
Now, you're all wondering what's the station traction right over here on the right. I'll go ahead and let you know that this is a 1-to-1 scale model of the boats we're taking on the lake today. And you think I'm joking, don't you? No, this is called a leaching bath. So, leaching baths were used by Civil War soldiers when they came down here mining for saltpeter, which is a type of crystal. They couldn't find it, so they started to make it. Don't forget Dennis Ray Belcher. Yeah, he wrote his full legal name 3 separate times. Don't be like Dennis. We also have Melissa and Jeremiah back here. Hope they're still doing
Show me.
Make sure you are watching your head, especially for these 2 low-hanging rocks. One called NyQuil and that one's called melatonin. So watch your head. Only sand in the cave, an early sweetwater settler, vegetables, and they're able to that sand. How do they do that? Well, again, down here it's not only 58 degrees, it's also 98% humidity, which means it would act like a natural refrigerator underneath that sand and still wouldn't. If you don't mind it, it's back in the face.
ও আস্তা কেবল মাঝে আস্তা কেবল মাঝে অনেক একটু হলে বালু আছে আস্তা কেবল মাঝে অনেক হলে একটু বালু আছে অনেক চেরকি গাড়ি বসে আছে এরা অনেক মাঝে সবজি উজি রাখতে ওই দেখো নাম রাখতে ওগুলো দেখিও ওখানে দেখিও দাদা মা মা দেখি
There were 2 water springs the size of a softball. The only problem is we don't know where it is. The portion of our cave that's unexplored as it gets so narrow, it actually got its name when a kid ran out in front of the tour guide. They weren't supposed to look down that hole, started screaming at the top of their lungs, saying they just saw the ugliest thing they've ever seen. It had to be the devil himself. And we got scared because we know there shouldn't be anything too scary down here. So we're gonna try it out. You know, all my jokes usually have stories behind them, especially the mother-in-law joke. Oh, that one came from a guy who came down here one time, right? I gave my spiel about the Devil's Hole. He goes by the Devil's Hole and he just yells, "Brenda!" to the top of his lungs. Just like the regular so long that all this is just clay held together by other clay. So if you touch it, it can break off in your hand. That could be a hefty fine of anywhere from $350 to $500 a piece, or you can just pay me enough set and see anything. Either are cheap though. So again, make sure you're not doing that. Make sure your kids don't touch it. But other than that, don't keep on going.
তোর মারো দরিয়া হয় আমি না থাম ওটার সময় না 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 ওই মানুষ মানুষ না না আগর যারা আর কি 3.5 টাকা আর আমার ফিক্সে 4.5 টাকা বাইরে ওই রে ভাই আরে দাদা বেশি হয়ে যাইস না আমার খাওয়া হয়ে গেছে বুঝছো নি আর একটা তো বেশি লাইট দিয়ে রেখে দেয় মানে ওই দেখো স্ট্রলারটা হয়ে আনছিলাম ওর থেকে গাড়ি থাকতে দিতে আসতে তোমার জালি বেঁচে আটতে পারলাম না না তোমার তো রুবি ফলসে দেখা হয়েছে না কোথায় নেই হ্যাঁ না আমি তো মাথা দেখো যে তুমি মনে হচ্ছে রুবি ফলস তোমার জায়গা হয়েছে না এইবার জায়গা হইতো না এইবার আছে Yes, sir.
So before we can keep going, I do have to give you a legal disclaimer saying this is the hardest part of our tour. It's like going down and back up 7 flights of stairs. Now again, there's not stairs involved. It is just a steep walk. It's a little slick from the waterfall that's next to it. And if you feel like you can't do it for any reason whatsoever, like being a broken toe, back problem, hip problem, all that good stuff, make sure that you can sit right up here. At our first rest stop. But if you sit at our first rest stop, you're going to be there for about 25 to 30 minutes in the dark, alone, and dark. Till we come back and get you. And again, you can't go with any other groups that they come by. You have to wait on us. So anybody like to stay at this time.
শেষমেশ আমরা সাইড থেকে ঝড় আসছে চারিদিকে জল আর জল, তোমার চারিদিকে জল আর জল।
Few boat rules before we can make our way out here. Number one, this is a floating boat.
Go
Dock.
ahead.
Move and wait, don't freak out when that happens again. It's supposed to happen. As we go down the boat, there might be a small gap that forms between the boat and the dock. In that gap, the lake. Step over it, not in it. You step. I mean, if it falls in and it's not keeping your stream to get back to us, I can't go in after it. Neither can you. The best you can do is take out my flashlight, shine it at your now singing iPhone, and watch it sink to the bottom together. All the bonding moment. Nobody wants that. Hold on to all your things. Finally, don't touch the water. We have fish. They have feet. They will. Get out just a little bit further. This is a great time to ask any questions. You do have. You don't have any questions. Sit here and awkward silence for 2.5 minutes. But that's okay. Rainbow trout, every last one of them. Yeah, so they're not natural. We do stock them. That's the big thing there. We started stocking them back in 1967 as a science experiment where we would tag an address after Chuck Norris Roundhouse kicked them down here.
It's showing. Oh, no.
Try not to get whiplash. If you do love, that's a free souvenir, no refunds. Or tourist attraction.
Mana tadi Baba?
Feel like we need background music.
Yeah, we need.
So there used to be glass bottom boats?
So there is a glass strip right there in the middle, but there was a bigger glass bottom at one point. It was from 1965 to 1983. We got rid of those, and you're not going to believe why, because people got scared of them. You know why? You know what came out in about 1983? Jaws. The Jaws movie, yeah. So when that came out, people got so scared of it, they signed a petition to get rid of the glass bottom boats.
Is that fish?
Yeah, fish.
Let's start with that. Yeah.
Fish.
We do have a megalodon though, so I mean that would make sense. His name's Larry. No, but our biggest trout we had down here is about the size of one. Our biggest trout was Trevor. Trevor was 16 pounds, 7 ounces, and 33 inches long.
When's the last time the cake floated?
Yesterday. No. Flooded? Not anytime recently. I mean, during COVID, when we closed down for a little bit, we do have pumps in the side of the mountain that pump water out if it gets too high. So it doesn't happen often. But during COVID, when we weren't here to pump out the water, it did get pretty high. I mean, the maintenance people said it was about halfway covering the dock. So, yeah. Yeah. There's been droughts where it got really low. We'll talk about one of the lowest droughts whenever we come back, but I'll just tell you, we lost about 45 feet of water.
Wow.
So when that kid fell in, he fell in here?
Yeah, so that Clay Beach area we were on is built up, so he would have been right in there. He didn't really fall in. He came through that small hole, but that small hole is not that big tunnel that we walked through. So, yeah, he came through right there and plopped out right out that.
Aha.
But
How'd he get out?
how'd he get out? Crawling back out the hole. All right. Now, when we start spinning and I start feeding them, they might get rowdy. They might jump up. They might even try to jump up into the boat. Now, they haven't jumped in the boat in a very long time, mostly because the last time that happened was about 21 years ago in 2003 when a fish did jump in the boat and a lady named Linda beat that fish so bad with her purse that no fish was brave enough to do it ever again. So they've kind of stayed in the water and not jumped towards the boat. You might see one jump out way far out of there, but they won't jump in the boat, I promise. Now, Linda's story didn't end there, though. She ended up taking that fish and putting it in her purse, refused to leave without it. And quite frankly, we were too scared to tell her no. So she ended up leaving with our fish, gave us a formal complaint the next day telling us how bad our fish taste. Yeah, she said they taste like beef liver and dog food. I'm feeding them beef and liver pellets, a.k.a. Purina trout chow, a.k.a. dog food. So How she knew what dog food tasted like, I couldn't tell you.
Shaw.
There's Bubba, that really big fish right there. Yeah. Biggest fish in here right now. That's alive. He'll be around on this side. We can come around. That's Bubba. You can tell Bubba apart because of the clip in the top of his tail. That's where he got in a fight with another fish. See, he's even showing you. You should see the other one. You can't.
It's gone.
It's not in here anymore. And we didn't take it out either.
Trout.
Bubba was hungry. But Bubba is one of the. But then the moonshine was happening in a back room, and you just had to know to get into it. Yeah, kinda.
Ahoy. Joy.
Joel.
All right. Now, as we continue on, we are going to be going underneath the side of our most recent rock fall. This rock fall right up here happened last Thursday. 2,000 years ago, last Thursday. It all happened about 2,000 years ago last Thursday because all this cave bacon right up here. Now, cave bacon or drapery starts growing on new and moist surfaces, meaning this started growing as soon as this rock fall happened. We actually broke some of these pieces off. They dated back to about 2,000 years.
Sorry.